The West African Examination Council is investigating the scripts of more than 22,000 candidates in what the council describes as mass cheating in the 2023 Basic Education Certificate Examination. Over 600,000 candidates from over 18,000 participating schools entered the examination this year. In a statement, the council said it detected several cases of irregularity during the examination and marking of scripts. Joining us on Zoom is John Kapi, Director of Public Affairs, for more. First, Mr. Kapi, what is the fate of these over 22,000 pupils?
Thank you, and good morning to your listeners. In the course of marking, our examiners detected that there was collusion among some of the candidates and some copying as well. And so once these reports reach us, we have set up our committee, and the committee is reviewing the reports of the examiners, and if appropriate, we'll invite the candidates to come and defend themselves, after which we may cancel or release their results.
So where are you with the investigations?
Well, we started a preliminary investigation, which is what our staff would do by way of going through the reports of the examiners to ensure that indeed the reports they are sending to us are infractions as far as our rules are concerned. And then based on that, the candidates will be invited to come and, defend themselves or answer questions regarding whatever has been observed.
So I want to find out from you, how didn't you detect this on the exams day? Because I know you deployed invigilators, WAEC supervisors, and what have you in the various schools. How didn't you detect these malpractices?
Well, with BECE, it covers a very vast area across the country. And so our monitors may be in one place for one day, but they'll have to move on to another place because we can't be at every center at the same time. And so it is possible that some of these may have escaped our monitors who were in the field, but then the examiners were able to detect that, and that is what they reported to us, and that is what we are acting on.
Let's have a breakdown of this mass, if you like, examination malpractice, as you put it. What does it entail? Or did all of them commit the same offense? What exactly are you talking about?
So the offenses vary. I mean, for whatever the examiners have detected, some of them, most of it is collusion. They may have copied from the same source according to the reports that we've received. Some inadvertently left the piece of paper they copied from in their answer booklets. So these are the things that we are, and it's quite widespread, and that's the reason we termed it mass cheating. And so we are going to look through all of this and ascertain the veracity or otherwise, and then we'll take appropriate action.
So we're also learning about the cancellation of 312 school candidates and 3 private candidates who you say brought in foreign materials. What's the fate of those students?
So these 312 candidates, that is school candidates and 3 private candidates. These were infractions that were detected in the course of writing the examination. And so we had the opportunity of, scrutinizing the scripts. In the course of the marking process, we were able to get confirmation, because the candidates also wrote their own statements confirming that indeed what was found on them was what they actually had, which they had copied from. And so that's the reason theirs were cancelled outright.
So they have the opportunity to write again next year, right?
Yes, they have the opportunity to write again next year.
And so how about the 180 school candidates who also you said you are withholding their results? What offense did they commit?
So all of these are based on collusion or suspicion of copying from a particular source. What happens is that for most of these scripts, we detected that the candidates produced the same answers, and where there were errors, the errors ran through all the scripts. Okay, so we've got to invite them over to come and defend themselves, how it happened, whether they were all taught the wrong thing or whether somebody gave them that information to produce.
Finally, I want you to clarify this for me. The entire results of 110 school candidates and 2 private candidates have also been withheld. Now, I want to find out, this is not the first time we're recording examination malpractices. Over the period, WAEC says it has improved its system to ensure some of these things are curtailed. But we keep finding ourselves back here. I mean, what's the measures that you're going to put in finally to ensure that these things do not recur?
Right. So for now, we have adapted the multiple choice randomization that we have applied for both BECE and WASC. Going forward, we probably are looking at another way of randomizing the essay test so as to ensure that we don't have the same questions across the country or the same questions appearing the same way. These are things that we are still discussing. We haven't decided on exactly what we are going to do yet. There are a few more meetings that will be held. A decision will be taken, and then I'm sure that we'll bring it out for everyone to get to know where we are going.
How do you react to people who say WAEC should be partly blamed for this whole thing? Because in some instances, your own invigilators have been caught in the act, helping schools and candidates to actually engage in these malpractices.
We've got to get something clear. WAEC officials do not invigilate examinations. We work in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service. On our part, we compile the questions, we print, and then we go out there and keep custody of the questions. The invigilators and supervisors are actually active teachers in the field. And so when you find that there are teachers in there who are assisting the candidates, they are not bona fide staff of the council, they are teachers in the field. Now, for these people, we have reported them to the Director General, Ghana Education Service. That is the appointing authority, and then they will take action. But on our part, we have their names and will ensure that they are not used for any of our exams going forward.
I'm grateful for your time. John Kapi, Director of Public Affairs at WAEC. We'll bring in Dr. Peter Anti. Doc, I'm grateful for your time. First, what's your general impression of the performance this year?
Thank you very much. I think that because now we are using BECE for placement, it doesn't normally matter to some of us the nature of the performance. So far as the students are able to transition to the senior high school, we think that should be the focus now, because BECE is no more a terminal point for any candidate, and that they just use the BECE to transition to a senior high school. And therefore, we just want to see more people qualify to continue their education, and not to curtail it after their BECE. So generally, I think it's okay. Hopefully, we would see more students accessing secondary education as we go forward.
You are satisfied with the performance so far?
Yeah. So far as we are getting most of our kids into our senior high school, I think that that should be the focus, and basically because we don't have to, we cannot even compare the results to the previous year. We just want to see the number of people who are qualified to enter the senior high school, so far as they do not obtain a grade 9 in English and Maths, as the system is designed to be. And so the focus should be the reduction in the number of students who are not able to access secondary education, not because of the system, but because they couldn't make a pass mark in English and maths. And for me, I think this year there seems to be good results in that respect.
Mr. Kapi, I'm happy you're still on. One last question before I let you go. The students whose results have been cancelled or papers were cancelled, how do they go about it? Are there processes they have to go through to be able to write again?
Yeah, come next year, they can register as private candidates. There is that opportunity for them to do so. And so next year, yes, they can write as private candidates.
All right, I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Anti, how do you feel that scripts of more than 22,000 candidates are being investigated in what the council describes as mass cheating?
It's interesting, but I'm also happy that my big brother is still online. I think that maybe going forward, when WAEC is releasing the summary of results for a particular year, they should give us an update of what has happened to the previous year's information that they gave us. I think that will give us an idea of what is really going on, because I know that some of these students whose results have been upheld or they are holding on to, depending on the investigation, the outcome of the investigation, some of them would still go through. Some of them might be able to purge themselves out of whatever situation that they find themselves. Some of them would definitely have their results cancelled. So what was the situation last year? How many results after investigation were cancelled? How many were given the go ahead to assess their results? I think that will give us an idea of the improvements in the system. For those who have had challenges, who have had their results withheld in terms of examination malpractices, I believe that that is the way to go. We keep talking about examination malpractice, and this year we have had series of interaction with WAEC, with my big brother on various platforms, and they have agreed that the examination malpractice that happens during the examination is what is now coming up falsely, because they have tried to deal with the issue of pre-examination malpractice, that is the leakage of questions. And of course, in Ghana, we have not had serious issues with post-examination malpractice, that is examiners tampering with scripts. So the focus now is more on during the exams malpractice and the various mechanisms that have been put in place to deal with that particular situation is what he's talking about, like the serialization and the randomization that he's talking about, which is one of the ways to prevent in-house exams malpractice. But it seems that we need to tighten our belts in terms of that area. And I was a little bit surprised that he said that WAEC employs GES as staff. But so far as you engage somebody, the person becomes one of your own. And if the person is found culpable with anything, it's the contract that you have with the person that is being breached. So we can still say that their contracted staff have been found to be engaged in some of these in-house examination malpractice, and the more we crack down on them, the higher we'll be able to raise the bar when it comes to dealing with these challenges. But so far as, and I've said on other platforms, so far as the desire to get to a good school is still there, people who engage in malpractices, it is up to us to make it costly for those who do that. And I think one of the ways we can do that is to give updates as to what has happened with the investigations that we said we were conducting previously, and what the way forward has been. And then we can now publicize what is happening this year, so that next year we'll give the people an update. Although maybe we might have done it during the year, but when you are releasing these results and you have people's results being withheld for last year, and we have had instances where people's results have been held, and they have been back and forth and so on and so forth with WAEC. So they should give us an update. What happened to those results that were withheld, those that were released without problems, those that were cancelled outright, and all those things. And then we can go ahead and talk about what is happening now.
Mr. Kapi, and thankfully we still have him here. Your response to the issues that Dr. Peter Anti is raising. Number one, the invigilators, the people that you contract to invigilate who are found culpable in some of these malpractices. And two, the update of the previous ones we've had to deal with.
Right. So first of all, with the invigilators and supervisors, WAEC has a contract with the Ghana Education Service. Now, for the teachers are told that invigilation and supervision is part of their job. And so whatever we give to them is something like a little pittance for refreshment, And so we really did not pay them a fee for invigilating and supervising the examination for us. And so, well, you could say, fine, we are in contract with them and therefore, but by and large, then in that case, we could also say that the Ghana Education Service should also be held responsible because those are their employees, all right. Anyway, but that's just an aside. I think that we need to, going forward, we need to be able to bring some sanity, especially on the part of the teachers. We have reported a number of them. Some were sanctioned, some were reduced in rank. I don't have the statistics in front of me right now, but every year for teachers who are found culpable, we report them to the Ghana Education Service for action to be taken because we as a council cannot, because they are not our direct employees. With the cases that happened, especially with the candidates, yes, we have records of that for those that we've released and those that we've had to cancel for various infractions. I think that going forward, I take the advice from my brother and we'll be able to put that out there for people to know that it's not just for purposes of, assuming that we are taking responsibility for everything, but we ensure that people get to know what is happening. Now, if you look at the statement that we've released, it clearly states the ones that we have cancelled outright, because then those ones are the infractions we detected in the course of the examination. We've had time to investigate. The ones we are holding back are the ones that the examiner detected in the course of marking. Now, between the close of marking and the time of processing and releasing results, it is not possible for us to be able to go into all of that and be able to come out with the veracity of the allegations or otherwise. And so, yes, going forward, we'll see what we can do to make sure that things are fluid and people get to understand better what we are doing.
I'm grateful, gentlemen, for joining us. John Pate is Director of Public Relations at WAEC, and Dr. Stephen Peter Anti, I beg your pardon, is the Executive Director of the Institute of Education Studies.